For our initial city design, we decided to use Zanesville as a reference because it had a similar population of around 25,000 people. We also saw that Zanesville has about 12 square miles of area, and so we based our city off of that too by making ours similar to around 12 square miles of area.
For the initial city, we decided to create a lot of access and usability while still creating a lot of room to grow. So a lot of the roads form loops with each other and kind of connect the different parts of the city, as well as connecting to the bridges, allowing for easy access between the two sides of the river.
One of the things we noticed when first designing our city was a tendency for the surrounding area to flood, and this can be a really major problem. So to combat this, we decided to put sewage systems underneath all the major roads and storm drains over all the minor roads. These will lead the water, the flood waters, into the river and out of harm's way. So that the flood waters, don't really damage the houses. We will put the houses on they'll be slightly elevated, and these houses won't have any basements either to prevent penetration of the fairly high water table that is present. Okay, so we decided to divide our city into several districts. We divided them really into 5 major parts. So we have the suburbs, the mixed areas, the business areas, the municipalities, and the industrial areas. So in the suburbs area, that's obviously where people are going to live. So we decided to put that on the outskirts of the city, just so that that's where there's most space, so people will have more living space there. The business areas are what you would generally think of as primarily business. So you can imagine downtown Dublin. That might be a good example of business area. And then mixed area is where some people are going to live, but there's also going to be businesses there. You can think of something like Tuttle Crossing. That's a good example of a mixed area. Municipalities, so that's where the city hall is going to be, a court system is going to be, things like that. Things that are essential for the government part of the city to function. And then in the north we have the industrial area. We decided to put them right next to the river because that'd be the best part where they can get the water from the river for the factories and things like that, and that will also be part of where the power plant, the water, and things like that, things will be there. As part of living, we also have high-rise that's in the center island there. High-rise is really going to be for the people who need to get to the businesses quickly or who live in the municipality areas, and that's going to be things like apartments or things like that. So those are the different parts that we decided to break our city into.
So we figured that the police, schools, and fire station needs of the city would be very similar to other cities, and that the area of influence for a fire station, school, or police department would pretty much be the same regardless of where it is. So we took the population data from Zanesville, Ohio, and the number of police buildings, and compared it with the population of Portsmouth and the number of police buildings, and did the same with fire and schools, and we found that the average area coverage for schools was 2.2 square miles. The average area of coverage for police stations was 11.875 miles, and the average area of coverage for fire stations was 4 square miles.
As for our initial power grid, we decided to use one coal power plant because it supports nearly 300,000 people, and though we only have 25,000 people as a population for our initial city, we know that we will be expanding sooner or later, and hence we took precautions now so that we don't have any issues later on.
As you can see, our city initially supports the population of 25,000 excellently, providing great infrastructure for accessibility and usability, as well as creating lead-ins for expansion in the future. This will allow for easy expansion of residential areas, business sectors, and the industrial area to support more people.
As we did in our initial city, we decided to use a reference in our final city, and this reference city that we decided to use was Portsmouth in Virginia. Portsmouth seems to have a population of around 100,000, which is what the projected population of our final city should be. And it seems that Portsmouth's area is around 47 square miles wide, and so we decided to use that number to create our final city too.
In expanding to meet the capacity of the new city, the former major roads become access roads between parts of the city, and we create a new outer perimeter road to create better accessibility. It's a little bit bigger than the actual city perimeters to allow for further growth, and also connecting to the extremes of the city, like the port and the fishing industry, while also allowing easy navigation of the city.
In our new city, we've really expanded all of the districts and kind of made them bigger to serve the purposes of the people who will be living there. Firstly, we've expanded the suburbs from being 2 suburbs. Now we now have 6 suburbs, and we've also added more onto the business district. In particular, towards the south side near the lake. That's what we think are going to be good fishing industries. Since we know that the lake is only 6 meters deep, we thought that it'd be a nice way to get the economy turning. We've also added some more mixed area towards the north. We did this to encourage more people for the businesses to move up there, and just that'll serve the needs of the people in the district nearby. And finally, we've expanded the industrial district to put more people to work and just produce more goods to meet the city's growing needs.
As with our initial city, in our final city we used the same principle of area coverage with our hospitals, schools, fire stations, and police departments. In addition, we would also take the existing buildings from the beginning of our city and expand them. For example, we would turn school buildings into complexes which accommodate all 3 levels of schools.
The final power grid didn't really need to change for our final city due to the fact that the one coal plant that we had is capable of providing for around 300,000 people. As our city expanded, we decided to add a port that utilizes the Congo River so that we can expand our economy. The port will end up becoming a very important factor in our economy, as it will help us trade and get larger and expand.
The purpose of the railroad station was to connect with the city of Mbandaka, which is a fairly large city to trade with. It even has its own airport.
As our city expanded from a simple 25,000 person town to a bustling 100,000 person city, it's expanded to meet the needs of many people and many industries, and is able to continue to expand to better meet the needs of its people.